And so we asked noted economic historian Niall Ferguson, senior fellow at the Hoover Institution and Bloomberg opinion columnist, for his reaction to Ray's analysis.
There are certainly irreconcilable differences, and there's certainly not enough communication going on. Ray Dalio talked about there being restraint. I think that's pretty clear on the US side right now, because there's been quite a diplomatic charm offensive by Jake Sullivan. Tony Blinken is going to China after they had to reschedule his last trip because of the balloon over Montana. But I'm not sure just how receptive or how restrained the Chinese side is being.
Neil, do you share Ray Dalio's view about the ultimate resolution of this conflict? Call it Cold War II, as you've called it. He said one side will not win and the other lose. Either both sides will win or both sides will lose. Do you share that view?
No, and I don't understand it, to be perfectly honest. In Cold War I don't think there's any controversy that one side won, the United States and its allies, and the other side lost, the Soviet Union, which, of course, disintegrated in 1991. And why shouldn't there be a similar outcome to a second Cold War? Now, I'm not saying there's any guarantee that the United States is the side that wins Cold War II. China's a much more formidable opponent than the Soviet Union was. And I sometimes think that the United States isn't in the same kind of domestic internal shape that it was in Cold War I. But I think the key point about a Cold War to remember is that if it stays cold, it doesn't escalate into hot war, at least not at the global level. You can have hot wars in spaces like, say, Ukraine, but if it doesn't escalate into World War III, then the United States and its allies are probably better placed to win.
Neil, we are told, and Ray Dalio seems to subscribe to this view, that generative artificial intelligence will change the entire world literally as we know it in ways that we can't even anticipate now. Do you have any thoughts about what generative AI might mean for the U.S. China relationship? Could it help? Could it hurt? Where is it likely to lead?
Well, it's certainly true that this is an extraordinary breakthrough technologically. We're seeing AI systems, large language models, performing in ways that 5 years ago seemed very unlikely to be achieved. And I don't doubt that this is going to transform a wide range of economic and scientific activities. In some ways, I'm more impressed by the work that DeepMind has done on the structures of proteins, AlphaFold, than I am by ChatGPT, which seems to be a toy that's quite good at pretending to generate human text. But all the attention is on GPT. GPT-4 is a pretty powerful system, and the Chinese seem able to come up with comparably powerful systems themselves. Now, what does this signify? In I think Ray Dalio's formula, this is as big, if not bigger, than the internet, sure. But let's remember that the internet originated as a way of trying to make American communications less centralized so that in the event of World War III, the US would not go dark. That's really the origin of the internet. And its goal was decentralization of communications. Well, AI, I don't think, has necessarily the same implications. If anything is clear at the moment, it's really that the AI will be developed by a very small number of companies in just two countries, the US and China. And unlike the internet, which had ultimately a defensive conception at its origin, AI can be used for offensive purposes.